Oh, well that's boring.
Ooh, oh, that's a lot of oil.
I don't know what to say at this point.
Oh shit.
Alright boys, we finally got it. We finally got our little test gauge right here. I'm not sure what brand it is, but I just got it at the local Napa. They had to order it in. Took a little longer than expected, but we got it here. It's a nice little gauge. You can see it has a little relief hose. I have it running down into my can right here. It's screwed on to this little Schrader valve just fine here on the fuel rail on the DTS. There was actually no pressure in it already, and nothing is coming out here. And I know that it worked because as I screwed it on, just a tiny bit of gas leaked out. Even though they tell you to always depressurize the system, and now that I have the gauge, I'll always hook it up if I can and make sure. When I did the fuel pump on, can you see it? Can you see it? That car, the daily cruiser out there. When I did the fuel pump on that, I didn't depressurize it or anything. I just unhooked it from the top of the sending unit. And a few little dribbles of gas came out, but it was no big deal. So not really something to worry about, but it is handy to have the gauge. Now I'm really hoping we can use it on the PTGT and somehow hook up to the fuel rail and kind of see what's going on with our fuel pump. If you guys didn't see the last episode, I will link it up in the corner right now. You're gonna wanna go check that video out because that will not only tell you the story behind what's going on with the DTS right now, but it'll tell you about our recent struggles and why I'm checking out the fuel pump on this car. But the fuel rail on these cars is deep in here. It's below the intake manifold and kind of below the upper radiator hose. You see, this is the fuel line right here that has the braided insulation on it that runs down and hooks up right there. You can kind of see underneath our water neck right here for the radiator. That's the end of it right there. I'll point the little red arrow to the end of the fuel rail right there, but it's hard to get to. From my understanding, there was actually some sort of test valve on the end. I'm not seeing anything unless that's like some sort of magical cap that goes over it, which I doubt. My understanding was that the first generation or like the early cruisers had some sort of Schrader valve or something on the fuel rail, and then for the second generation, they changed the rail design and the fuel line design and everything just a little bit, and there wasn't actually a Schrader valve on it anymore, which would kind of suck, but it looks like, unless I'm mistaken, there's not one here, but I'm gonna look in the manual in just a second to confirm that. If not, I will probably try to create my own valve or something, maybe in the fuel line or something. Maybe we could somehow splice into the nylon line and put a gauge in it. I've seen people do that a lot. That would be kind of cool if we end up doing that, but I'm really hoping that there's something here that I'm missing and we can go ahead and plug in. So I am gonna check that and then we'll continue on with this.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I looked in the manual and there is a test port. It's over on this side of the fuel rail, which makes sense, but it doesn't at the same time because there's a little bit of room over on this side to reach that end. But this end, no room, but I am able to see it. If I look just right, let me see if I can get a light on it so that you guys can see. You could almost see it. I don't think I can get it on camera, but it's right, like, I don't even know, it might be me. It's like almost touching the dipstick for the transmission, and there's a wiring loom that runs there. Kind of can push it back and you can touch it. I don't even know if I can get like a pair of pliers in there to remove the cap. It's really cold out and it's late at night and I have videos to edit, so I'm gonna do that, but tomorrow morning we're gonna come out and actually figure everything out. I'm too cold for this crap right now. Good night. Guys, I ended up removing the upper radiator hose actually to go ahead and get the test gauge on there. It's just too tight. As you can see, the hose is already squished up against the intercooler piping. I could have removed that. It might have been easier if I did remove this pipe here. The only thing is I was just assuming this pipe would not flex at all, but it might. But I feel like it wouldn't have flexed enough to be able to get this on. The upper hose, I was able to just undo it. Obviously, I had to deal with the coolant draining out a little bit, but I'll just top it off, push it up out of the way, and I was able to get it on. 52 pounds just from priming the pump once. Prime the pump again and we have right about 56 psi of pressure in the line. So that's a little better. It looks like that's right about where that's going to stay, and according to what I'm seeing online, 58 plus or minus a few is right where it should be, so we look pretty good. Okay, well, it still looks like we're holding the pressure numbers exactly that we should be, so I don't know what to say at this point. Car's still misfiring, so it looks like it's not an issue with the car running lean and having low fuel pressure. I've been itching to test out this relief valve because that car had no pressure in the system when I tried to use it. Oh, well that's boring. So initially from our first pressure check, it looks like there's not something wrong with the fuel pump. I probably should still try to hook a multimeter up to it somehow just to make sure. But a couple other things that I've been checking in the meantime, I actually got my little camera out here and took a look down in here, because something else a lot of people have said could potentially be an issue is this main harness. I believe it's the orange one right here, but it's the second one in from the left. It goes down under the intake, and down here, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that runs off of it. It's a main harness that goes to like this sensor, it goes to our injectors, wires run up to the coil from there, bunch of wires that run off it and go up to a lot of important stuff and down to the injectors and everything, like I said. And it runs down on top of the transmission down here, and kind of see here on this screen, there's just a mess of different wire looms down in here, and wires going off. You can see there's the main battery power wire right there. And I've been looking around for the past like 15 minutes with this camera, just kind of poking around and zooming in on different things that look suspicious, and I don't see anything. It doesn't really tell me a whole lot without actually taking the battery out, taking some stuff apart, and actually getting down in there and taking a really close look. Even though fuel pump is a common thing for the ASD fuse, like I mentioned in the last video, the ASD fuse, it covers the PCM, injectors, the coil, the OBD2 connectors, surge solenoid, O2 sensors are controlled by it as well. So anything like that could be causing our ASD to blow, and I feel like at this point it's probably something like that. Another thing it very well could be is an O2 sensor. That could be causing a misfire if our wires have shorted out, and that's the next thing I'm going to check. But a lot of things like that that are shorting out could cause that fuse to blow. The O2 sensor wires run right here. You can see it has like a fancy blue insulator on it, and then it runs down below the header and stuff where it gets really hot, which is kind of sketchy, but I guess it works. So anything is a possibility at the moment, but honestly at this point I'm still wondering if our coil itself isn't bad, because that is a significant misfire. It almost sounds like a cylinder down. It sounds really bad. If the coil is that crappy at this point, I see where it could be shorting out within the coil and causing that fuse to blow occasionally. Got the intake manifold off. That took me about all of 5 minutes, I think, but got that out of the way. Went ahead and pulled the coil off real quick, and I don't think that's supposed to look like that. That looks really, really bad. I think this is the original coil. I don't think I ever put one in this car. So, really starting to wonder if that was our issue right there. That looks disgusting. But I think I'm gonna pull some of the plugs out too and see what kind of condition they're in. I do have some NKG G-Power Platinum plugs. I don't know how good these are or how well fit they are for the car, but if they look pretty bad, I'll go ahead and gap these and throw them in there.
That's a lot of oil.
It's all on the threads, so it could just be the valve cover gasket. I know the valve cover is leaking on this side a tiny bit. Probably throw new gaskets in it again, but there's a lot of oil. Not on the tip though. So it's all on the threads. So I think we're probably okay. Plug itself actually doesn't look too bad. It looks like it might have been running a little rich, which would make sense. As I pulled out cylinder 1, which was the cylinder that had all that corrosion on the coil. So this one probably was running more rich. For now, I am going to throw this plug back in. I might go with a different plug in the end of this car for when we tune it and stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in. I might pull out cylinder 2 or 3 here real quick and just see how they look compared. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait to put this one back in and I'm going to compare the two. That one's got a lot of oil on it too from the gasket, but it looks pretty similar as far as they're both pretty dark. Actually, this one looks like it's burnt. I forgot what that is. It's almost like a buildup of some sort on it. They honestly don't look bad. Y'all already know I had to play with a little camera since I got the spark plugs out though, and that's a lot of carbon. Alright, and amongst the parts that I keep in the back seat of my car, oh, it's jammed under my seat. Here we go. I have a nice new Eklund brand coil that I got for this like a month ago. It's been sitting under that seat for a long time, and I think now is the time to finally use it and see if it does the trick. Yeah, I would dare say that that's a little bit better. Alright, I got the intake manifold back on and everything is good to go. I just had to plug in the last couple vacuum lines and the map sensor. We can go ahead and fire this up and see if that solved our problems. If it does, I'm going to be so happy. Come on, baby. Whoa! Okay, you sound a lot better. You sound way better. Oh my god, it runs well now. Yes! Got it. It was the coil after all. Thank God. Guys, I forgot how fast this car was. I got in the boost a little bit and it was just like, whoa, okay. Like, I wasn't expecting it and the wheel started torque steer and the car started to take off and it actually scared me a little bit. That was, oh, dude, I love this car so freaking much. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Shh. Pretend you didn't just see me doing that. Little hint as to what might be one of the next videos on the Daily Cruiser. We are not done getting the fitment game a little bit more on point with this car. Well, I must say, days are staying later longer, but it does get dark out way too early. Another couple weeks though, and the clocks will be switching again, and I'm really excited for that because then it's going to stay light out really late. But went ahead and took the Daily Cruiser off camera. I didn't bore you guys with another wash montage, but I went and got it cleaned up. It's looking really good. I cleaned up the GT a little bit as well. For me, when I get into detailing, start cleaning cars up and doing that, it's like I go into Zen mode. But I have not been in the best health the past few days. I don't know. I think I like caught something, or I started to catch something. It has not felt good. My head has been dead. Seem to be pulling through it now, but that's slowed me down the past few days as well. I've still been able to figure out our ASD issue during that time, and I'm super excited for that. Again, hit that thumbs up button if you guys are excited that the PTGT is back. The last video that I put up on it has been doing super well compared to the other videos, so I'm really excited to see that. It's awesome to see you guys out supporting the videos, giving them a view. Hopefully in the next couple days I will have this car running again as well. Hopefully tomorrow, as of the time I'm filming this, I will have all of that put back in the car and have it good to go. But the next video you see, I'm not sure which car it'll be on or whether it will be me actually buying another car, but either way, it's bound to be an exciting one. I've been looking at a few different Flip Cruiser projects, and I've been trying to find something good for us so we can make a couple videos on it and have another little Flip Cruiser project here on the channel on top of our beautiful projects here. So again, hit that thumbs up button if you are excited for the videos that are to come, and if you have enjoyed having the PTGT back on the channel. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching this quick little video. You rock. God bless you guys, and I will see you in the next one.